Hey, it's me, Big P, and I wanted to go over some tips that I have for people that want to jump into the first of what I'm sure will be many weekends of Path of Exile Royale. If you haven't heard, it's a new PvP mode. They did it a couple years back as an April Fool's joke, but it is actually probably one of the more nuanced and complex battle royales I've ever played myself. I've been playing battle royales since, well, like early PUBG, and I still play a lot of Apex, and anything in between. Uh, to say, I mean, it's mostly shooters, really, but it's kind of unprecedented for Path, but a lot of those mechanics and sort of mentalities that you learn to apply to battle royale games will apply to Path. And I think, especially for some people who have only played Path of Exile, well, as a PvE game, because, well, that's kind of all it's existed as. I mean, there is technically PvP, but certainly not on the level of 100-player battle royale. And if you approach it with the proper mentality and perspective, it'll help you play better, and then also get better while you're playing, and then even more importantly, have fun while doing all of that. So I'm just going to go over a few quick tips to just help out maybe some people who might be struggling or might not really see the point. I know I personally already planned on, new league means a new excuse to make a lot of content, and this, if you didn't see the live stream, it's stacked as is, but I really just kind of wanted to gush some ideas and just tips for people who might be, wondering why even bother or how do I get better. I'm going to try and keep these tips more evergreen. This is going to be more general stuff, less about discussing the fact that Blight is obviously broken and obviously there's some weird bugs that were happening. I don't know if they've been fixed. I kind of stopped playing. But the first tip I have is don't be afraid to play. The games are dispensable. You hop into this game. I'm not going to wait for all the players to join. Let's say you get in the game, walk up, and some dude got the Blight gem at level 1, and he mows you down immediately. What happens? Start a new game. You might not ever win this game. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You might never win. Just because of the nature of there can only be one out of 100. I was gonna say hundreds out of 100 people. Who cares? It's a video game. Not only should you not really get so mad at standard Path of Exile while you play, but this is it's going to be a very competitive and cutthroat environment. And there's no meta progression as of right now. There's no battle pass experience or participation medals, but it doesn't matter. Particularly as of right now, as the game stands, all that there really is you and your understanding with the mechanics. And so you kind of have to apply the sort of adage that I learned as I raged the better part of my 20s away playing Dota, was that you can't win every game, but you can always learn more and get better. So try and have fun with it while you do it. I think it's pretty easy to underestimate. It's like, haha, Fortnite. I mean, it literally started as an April Fool's joke. But, Battle Royale is a kind of classic at this point, I would say, sort of game type, game style. But the Path of Exile one specifically is going to be more demanding and complex than any other one that I've played before. It's definitely not as straightforward as like a game where you get a gun and you shoot the other people. Even something like Fortnite where you're building. I don't have that much Fortnite experience, but as of right now, try and spend your time playing, being in the game, and experiment and play, and have fun with it. And so I think another good point that I have here is, oh wow, look, I'm seeing I'm in 80th place already, but I still have just my starting items and no experience. So normally, tip number 2 will be that this is a game of seconds and inches, and you have to pace yourself accordingly for that. Every second that you spend reading the skill tree, reading your affixes on an item to see if it's slightly better than the other players are moving around, their farming experience, which is huge, as I'll go over the progression systems that are in this game in a bit. The pace of Path of Exile in PvE, there is that first week, that impetus to kind of, beat the market, farm the items that people need early to get that sort of shit that you can flip for whatever in a trade league, or just, you just want to get it done. The progression for a battle royale game is the heart of every match, and you don't want to get left behind. And so that means that you kind of, it's better, the opportunity cost of doing something rather than nothing, you know, you want to take that. You want to be pushing towards the circle and, you know, making your build kind of more, I don't know. Obviously, you have to be flexible. That's actually tip number 3 is be flexible. Even more so in this game than usual. Your gear is going to dictate how you play and how you level your build. I think really, you know, if there was skill trees in some other battle royales, they do apply, but in Path of Exile, the difference between things like spells and attacks, you know, if you don't really understand that in the base game, you're not going to pick that up intuitively here. It's better to understand that and then apply that, you know, after the fact, you know. If you're not used to gearing on the fly, especially like in the earlier acts where, you know, gear comes and goes quite quickly, it's going to be very difficult for you. I mean, that kind of goes back into tip number 2. You know, the pace of the game is just going to be up there very quick. But yeah, you want to be flexible. Your gear is going to dictate what you go into. So you might plan, you know, I'm starting as Ranger because I think ranged attacks, at least for farming early creeps, call them creeps, monsters, whatever, it's going to be important because you want to get at least a couple levels. You know, you get 2 points per level, and there can be very powerful spikes depending on what you get, but you might want to hold on to 1 or 2 if you don't have a good skill gem that you really want to push into, or if your gear, it's really the skill gems, I would say, even more so than the gear. Like, it's probably more worth it to drop, like, even if your weapon is like really good for some attacks, if you get like, well, for example, the meta gem of Blight right about now, you might want to pick that up and adjust your build accordingly. And learning this skill tree is part of that sort of, you know, pace and the burden of knowledge that goes in. That's definitely a big part of learning the game. I myself am trying to figure out exactly like the optimal skill tree setups, and you know, but it's not going to be like you have a path of building up on the side. And you know, you follow that to a T. The best players are going to be the ones who can make dynamic decisions regarding the gear they're given and apply that to their build and their gear and just how they play overall. Beyond that, with further respect to the mechanics, you always want to... Hey man, come on, I'm trying to do a video, dude. See, this guy's level 3? And so let's use this guy as a bit of an example for tip number 4. You want to respect the mechanics, particularly the circle. The worst way to die in a game like this is dying outside of the circle. You're not even getting outplayed by other players at this point. Hey, look at that, man, I'm here. You're getting outplayed by the mechanics, which you've been aware of the entire time. And it's very easy to get distracted. Like, I'm trying to distract this guy and get caught up with, you know, juking some nerd and outplaying him. Did I do that damage? You know, it's very easy to get caught up in stuff like that, but it's not a deathmatch. Battle Royale isn't a deathmatch. I mean, it is, but it's not like, you know, your kills won't determine, well, until there's like some sort of, you know, meta progression or something, or like quests to get X amount of kills in some time. If we were fighting outside of the circle here, this would be a very bad sort of thing. See, so now the circle, if you're not familiar with the game, or just battle royales in general, there's usually a circle that kind of focuses the area where the game takes place to make it so that, okay, so it's right here. So generally speaking, it's better to do your business inside of the circle rather than out. Get it done out there. But again, discretion is a very powerful weapon. I think even more so, again, than in other battle royales, the loot is less linear here in terms of, you know, like if you kill somebody and you loot their body, first of all, it's dangerous to open up a menu. Like, you have a body here that we can see. It's dangerous to open up that side menu and stand still, because then you're not positioning yourself properly. You're not getting further into the game. You're not leveling your character much or upgrading your gear, or, you know, gem levels are even a thing for this game. Again, it's a very complex sort of game, way more so than like, oh no, see, this guy's still bugged. I was really hoping they would fix this bug by now, but yeah, sometimes there's friendly players that doesn't really apply. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is get caught out of the position, The more time you have to set yourself up the better. And that both means in your actual position on the map and in your gear skill setup, you know, getting your hotkeys right, you know, just very small things like that. It's all going to add up. And all of it adds up to the final circle and the final few players. And the only kill that really matters is the last one. You know, you can really get caught up. You know, player kills do grant experience, which is important. Oh, wow, look at all this stuff here. Yeah. But again, to win the game, you need to be the last one standing. And a lot of times, the best thing to do is just run away. You know, people are going to get distracted with other stuff. And, you know, just rise above that sort of stuff. And I guess my last tip, which will kind of lead back to tip number 1, is you got to understand that the randomness wouldn't be a Path of Exile game without randomness and RNG. Oh, here's the blighter. So this guy got like extra projectiles on his on his, what is that, rolling magma. It's pretty good. Ooh, wow, let's see, it's like 2-shot me. Understand that randomness will give you wins that you didn't. Oh, let's spectate, by the way. The spectate is amazing because you can like kind of like walk around, and then if you left click on somebody, you like unfortunately you can't see their gear. Hopefully they'll add that in later, because it would be kind of cool to be like, oh damn, how did he do that much damage? Well, this dude has a life sprig, you can tell. And then like, but if you left click again, you can kind of walk around. I feel like maybe this is like part of the bug, and see, you can kind of, but anyway, yeah, last tip. RNG will give you wins that maybe you didn't really deserve, and steal wins from you that maybe you did. RNG applies to gear. It applies to XP from farming kills from other players and monsters. It applies to circle position. It applies to the map itself, you know, where you're positioned within that map, because, you know, going up and down from like different levels of elevation is going to be relevant. You know, I think it's important to try and stay humble. Don't get too wrapped up into a moment-to-moment win or loss or whatever, because like, look, this guy just died just because that guy had blight. Like, you know what, like, who gives a shit? Like, let's follow the blight guy. Please buff explosive arrow. I think explosive arrow is pretty good. But yeah, don't be afraid to play, you know, get in there. You know, take your lumps, because there's 99 losers and 1 winner in every game if it's a full. And, you know, if there's not some weird bugs going on, like, I think this guy is bugged right now. See, he's level 1. When you're in this bug state, you can't kill any monsters or players, so except for like some weird players, sometimes, whatever. Hopefully they're going to fix it. They're going to patch it. If you thought this video helped, you know, leave a like. I'm going to, whatchamacallit, have a lot more videos. I didn't expect to make this video today. I was kind of planning on, you know, a week's worth of content for the build-up to Expedition League. You know, I made a whole fucking video right now and didn't even talk about the new league, because goddamn, Path of Exile has a lot of content to go through now. So I'm very excited. Yeah, leave a like and sub. I'm going to have links for all the socials in the description. Let me know if you want to see more content about Royale. I'm really excited to like kind of play this and like kind of, you know, have something to dick around with it outside of the main game of Path of Exile, but it's still very much Path of Exile. And what else? I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm going to play this weekend on Twitch, probably as much as I can. Hopefully they iron out some of the bugs within a day or so. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.